What's up, everybody? Let's get into Bel-Air episode 5. I do apologize for the late upload on the video, but let's get into the video. Let's go with Bel-Air. All right. So we get into this opening scene. Of course, we got Ashley and the kids. They're over here making dinner and stuff like that for the family, but they're also making it for Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil because this is their actual anniversary. So they made them breakfast, even though there's a little bit of tension that's in the air. Obviously, Uncle Phil was sleeping in his office, giving Viv some space. But again, I'm not gonna lie. Aunt Viv, especially last episode. If you've seen last episode, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Because Aunt Viv was getting on my nerves. She was making me sick. But they're having this quarrel back and forth, which again, I don't like because again, I believe to me that Uncle Phil's been doing everything that they need to do, to try to make this thing work. And if this is the first time you're seeing this, you seeing the clips are going through 10-second interviews from the actual show, so I don't get in trouble. So if you are watching this and like, why you're not playing the whole entire thing, because I don't want a copyright strike. So we're skipping ahead 10 seconds while I explain this in my own unique, funny way. All right, let's get into it. So again, they're trying to figure out what's going on, but even Carlton's like, it ain't nothing, but Will knows that it's more to this than meets the eye. So now we get into Aunt Viv and Chef Buffardee. You know what I mean? Oh, Buffaroony. You know what I mean? You knew good and well you was looking at this man's stuff. You know what I'm saying? Salt Bay don't do it this good. You're nasty. You know what I'm saying? They Viv knew she was looking at the pictures. It was like, I didn't like them. My friend did, but you was looking at them pictures. You was all on this stuff, looking at muscles and big backs and all. But I know what you was doing. I seen you. I seen it. But Uncle Phil is just trying to reassure her, this is our anniversary. I got something planned on everything. Let's go. So we come back to Will and Carlton, and Will and Carlton has all this inventory. So if you know from last episode that they were, doing Black Sis. So they got the shirts, they got the inventory in now. Now they're trying to figure out what to do with that inventory because they got like 1,000 shirts when they only was supposed to get 100. So now it's time to figure out how we're going to be able to get this merchandise sold. And Uncle Phil was like, you can take it to the garage. And Carlton was like, hey, you and mom doing all right? Yeah, we good. He was like, you're lying. You know what I mean? So we get this scene where Ashley is in her room, and this is all about the showcase for the talent show. And then Aunt Viv is kind of proud of her because she was like, I thought she was going to be an artist, but she's taking the music and she's taking to poetry, health, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna be a rapper here in a minute, the way she kicking the bars, you know what I'm saying? But she's just, still looking at Aunt Viv, because even though that she's happy that her mom is proud that she's doing something artistic in her own unique right, we already know Aunt Viv, and Uncle Phil been having a tension, and we need to talk about that. We need to discuss this. All right, so we get this scene where Jeffrey is talking to Uncle Phil, and he was letting them know, hey, I got intel on what's going on with Jeffrey. He got a burner phone, all of this, what I'm going to do. And Uncle Phil was like, hey, you need to be less like G and more like his daddy. You know what I mean? And giving him some good sound advice on that. And that's my guy. Jeffrey is my man. He's my guy in this season. Now, we're back at the country club with Carlton and Will, and it was like, hey, I found out that this rapper Tony Rich is gonna be here. All we got to do is get next to Tony Rich. We get next to Tony Rich, we could be able to sell the merch. You know what I mean? We could be able to sell out. So he's asking, and I can't think of his kid's name. Y'all can put it in the comment section. But he is basically the supervisor. He was like, hey, how can you get us into Tony Rich? And he was like, hey, this is the way that you get your opening, yada. So we meet this interesting young lady. I cannot, for the life of me, remember her name for this episode, but it'll come to me once I get this, once I get my life together. But she was a breath of fresh air. I loved her sassiness, her attitude, and this was, I'm not gonna lie, this was awesome. This was awesome, especially when they didn't know what she was on in this episode, she was just like, hey, we need to, we're trying to be down, and, how can we get in this part? And she was like, you guys are cute. I want to see what you got. And they thought she was talking about something else. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They thought she was talking about something else. But she was like, nah, fool. I'm talking about pickleball. What's your game? You know what I mean? And what's crazy is that they alluded to Will playing pickleball earlier in the season. If you actually kind of paid attention to that, it's a very slight nod to it. You know what I mean? That he learned how to play pickleball. So he was like, "Psh, yeah, I got this, dog." And then Carlton was getting on my nerves because it was like, come on, Will, you can do it. And Will's trying his hardest. And then eventually, they win. So we now meet Destiny, the artist, with Aunt Viv. And I'm not going to lie, this is, to me, this is so amazing, for the simple fact is that I love this young lady's enthusiasm in this episode, in the show. She was, she looked up to Aunt Viv as far as her art. She complimented her art. This is the reason why she was trying to get her attention. And I'm not even gonna hold you. Doesn't this kind of don't she look like that could be her daughter? But she was trying to get her attention and everything. She did get her attention. She loved everything that Aunt Viv did, and again, just seeing a young Black woman being, so excited about art and meeting her hero, getting selfies and all of that. That was awesome, and to show the ability of not, backing down on your dreams, even though, you're painting on people's wall, never back down on your dream. I absolutely love that. So we're back with Will and Carlton. Again, this is a scene where they have to go and serve these drinks to the public, because that's what they're doing. They're serving drinks to the public, and while they were drinking, Carlton was starting to have his anxiety, because remember, he's a recovering addict. Besides the boogers, the sugars that he was putting in his nose, you also have the simple fact that he was an alcoholic too. You know what I mean? So all of that stuff, going through rehab, trying to change his life, it really hit him hard on this one. So we go in, and now we got G and Frederick, and they have some light dialogue here, but Jeffrey already know that he's about to drop the bomb on him. You know what I mean? But he's trying to figure out where you going, where you headed to. You know what I mean? And he was gonna follow him, because he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And we find out later on in the episode what is going on, which was super shocking to me. And again, this show does not get enough credit for the structure it's doing in season 3 that they did not do in season 2. Because to me, season 2 sounded like a lot more forced drama, like they were trying to force the drama. This season seems a lot natural. So we get to the scene here. Again, Carlton, was having a little bit of trouble because he's having anxiety, man. He's just, stopped from drinking all of that, stopped from putting the sugar in his nose. And then he has to go around all these people serving drinks and all of that. It was just too overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? As for a recovering addict, I can understand how this could be a lot. So something, don't even worry about it, man. Go get yourself together, man. Take 5, man. You good. You know what I mean? And I did see a lot of maturity in Carlton in this season that I did not see in the first 2 seasons, which I'm absolutely loving, But then we come back to Aunt Viv, and Aunt Viv is again with her assistant, and she was just like, guess who's coming to town? Guess who's coming to dinner? Chef Buff RD. You know what I'm saying? Buff back. You know what I'm saying? Buff Bagwell. What are you doing here? And he was like, you know what I'm saying? I see that you was liking my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now he know he dead wrong, because he knows that you met this man, you met this woman's husband. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no sneaky link. You met this woman's husband, and you trying to figure out if you can still get through, because your chest is popping out of your shirt. Put that shirt up. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a bigger shirt. You know what I mean? But he coming in there with the $1 million smile. I'm sounding like a hater right now, but I'm hating on Aunt Viv because she knew better. You know what I mean? But she come around smiling. He was like, look, I brought you some dinner. Let's go ahead and have some dinner. She was like, cool. On their anniversary. I got some beef. You know what I mean? But we get the scene with Jackie and Will, and Jackie kind of checked, Will on what she was doing, because she was like, look, when you was part of Rise, I'm the one who vouched for you, even though I don't know what her end game was. If she did it because she liked him, or she did it because she just wanted to see him win, But I think she did it just because she really liked him. I don't personally think that she just did it because it was out the kindness of her heart. Even though she was out there selling shirts or whatever, to me, she was trying to get favoritism on Will and say, hey, look, Will, you know what I'm saying? I've been here for you. I've been out here hustling for you. And you're gonna let Lisa talk to me like that? You know what I mean? And again, Jackie in the original show was played by Tyra Banks, which is so dope. You know what I'm saying? As far as like a throwback, and Lisa was played by, my God, now I can't. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna put it it's gonna come to me. Y'all put it in the chat. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or it's gonna come to me. But yeah, Will kind of felt kind of like an ass because he was like, man, you should have just checked Lisa, like, kind of chill, you know what I mean? But again, you're dealing with somebody who was emotional about Will from the very beginning, and then you have somebody who was all about Will at that, at her point in time. So we get over here where I'm Viv over here having lunch with old Chef Buff RD. You know what I mean? And he already know what the game is. He already know. He over here thirst trapping on his Instagram, man. You need to be making bacon sandwiches, not taking off your shirt. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some Salt Bay. You know what you doing. You know what I'm saying? This is how you get the women, man, with the meals. Is that what you doing with the meals? You know what I mean? She just eating it up. And then Uncle Phil comes in. Hey, everybody, how you doing? And Will play. I'm sorry. Uncle Phil played this so dope. You know what I'm saying? He played this so dope. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, yeah, then I ain't no disrespect. I mean, if you want to eat too, but this is the reason why I wish a little bit they would have went with a bigger Uncle Phil, like the original Uncle Phil, for the simple fact is that Uncle Phil was a towering, imposing figure. You know what I mean? So if you walked in, you walking into a bear. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to James Avery, RIP. You know what I mean? But you walking into a bear. You walking in a shredder. You know what I mean? It did. Uncle Phil, eat my height. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, I brought you some flowers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's our anniversary. Do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. And you out here having meals with old Buff Chef. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it. So we get the scene where Ashley is with her friend, and they're talking about, the band that they're trying to start. And, her friend is like, we need to make happy music. We need to, we just need to make music. And she was like, no, if the music doesn't have a message, why make it? My God, she needs to be preaching to a lot of these cats out here that make music that have nothing to do with nothing. Just to be making something, just to sell records. And it ain't about selling records. It's about the message. What do you bring as an artist when you're an artist, and what does your word say about your art? And I love this. You know what I'm saying? So we got Frederick, and G pulled up on Frederick like, you told me you was gonna be at the pub. You know what I'm saying? Watching the soccer game. You out here, you know what I'm saying, on the beach. He was like, man, you over here trying to follow somebody. He was like, look, I'm your daddy, boy. And don't you be lying to me. I know you got that burner phone. Who's you talking to, son? He was like, I'll let you. You know what I mean? So we get back here with Carlton and the therapist. And at first, I'm not even going, or it's not necessarily the therapist, but he runs the rehab center. Not gonna lie, to me, I thought for a little bit that the therapist was going to have a little, something to him. Like he was going, he was going to try to like secretly try to talk to him, or he liked him or whatever. But I now started to figure out that they really was looking at how, because he knows Amira, you know what I'm saying? And he knows the struggle that she's been through, and this guy is now trying to get his life together. And maybe he's a little bit concerned of that. I don't see anything where there's a twist where he's secretly like, and if they did, they hiding it hella hard, or I'm missing it. You know what I mean? But he's explaining to him like, this is what I had going on. I started freaking out. I seen those drinks, and it started to put me back in a bad place. And he actually called this guy, and he's there for him. And just to sit and listen. And I'm hoping I'm really hoping that there's no alternative motive from, the AA, that therapist, or, or the advocate, or whatever you call it, in Carlton, man, because Carlton is doing so good. He don't need that. He don't need an additional drama, But it's good that he called someone to be able to talk about his problems, and it wasn't a mirror. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "But you're gonna need to refill on this smoothie, though, big dog." You know what I mean? I ain't come down here for nothing. So we go into this apartment, and again, I'm thinking we about to get to the cartel, and we find out, bump, is Frederick's mother. Yes, G, and then we get to find out a little bit more about G, why he left Frederick's mother. Then we get to find out a little bit more about that, and I love this in here that we get to find out a little bit more about why Jeffrey, and Frederick's mother, why they left. So, we're back with Tony Rich and, the director, of this pickleball tournament or and then we get this scene where Jackie is, caddying around this guy, and the guy is being, a dick. He's over here making sexual suggestions to a teen. First of all, I need someone that's an adult on this show to be able to check. Boy, first of all, she's still a teenager. Second of all, he's over here doing the fool, and Will comes to her aid, but nobody's actually checking the guy like immediately because she's a teenager in the show. Now, I don't know. I mean, they're coming from junior year going into senior year. This is the summer going into senior year. So to me, she's between 16 and 17, years old. Why are you over here, sexually harassing, a kid? For one, why are you sexually harassing this kid? And then, the director should have had a little bit more like, I'm backing up. No, hold up, cuz, I had a problem with this because he should have kicked him out immediately because she is a kid and she didn't. So that kind of, rubbed me the wrong way. But again, you're trying to play up to these high profile clients. You know what I'm saying? And Will's like, that's bullshit. Like, I understand, that he's a high profile client, but this young girl is still a teenager. And we ain't trying to have no Kels around here. You know what I mean? So he actually, kind of gets kicked out, of the thing. And again, Jackie knows that Will cares about her. Maybe not in the way that she thinks he should care about her, because she's still in love with Will. We found that out when she came back, in episode 3. That whole dialogue in episode 3 and episode 4. But, for her to be looking at Will crazy, the director, and not being like, Jackie, we're not allowing no grown ass men to touch or sexually harass or anything, no teenagers around me. That should have been talked about. That should have been checked. It was not checked. I had a real big problem with this. So we go back now, to Aunt Viv. Now, Aunt Viv knew she was dead wrong because Uncle Phil played it cool. He played this situation as cool as you could possibly get it, because she was like, you was only saying stuff, to him because he was just letting them know, hey, this is our anniversary. I got, I rented out this restaurant. We're going to have a good time. But see, he was quiet about old Chef Buff RD. You know what I mean? He was quiet about it. He didn't really make no fuss. You know what I'm saying? He played it cool, like, let's sip this wine real quick. Let me go ahead and get a little shot here. Let me get that shot there right quick. Yeah. Now we go back to Jeffrey and, Frederick's mother. And again, we get a little bit more interesting dialogue between them. Why he left her because he wanted to protect. You know what I mean? His biggest main focus was to protect his kid's mom because he was deep in whatever London gang that he was a part of. He was too deep in, and he did not want her to get involved. He didn't want her to, even though she was involved, he didn't want her to get hurt or anything. And, he thought he was doing right, but she's not seeing it that way. And obviously they got beef when it comes to this because she wasn't feeling none of that, and it felt like she was like, well, you didn't think about me in the midst of this. You was only thinking about yourself. And he was like, no, I'm thinking about you and Frederick when it comes to this. Now we get back to Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv on their anniversary. And this is where some truth bombs gets dropped out because, for one, she got all pretty. Now, we ain't forgot episode 4, Aunt Viv, where you got all sexy and cute and went to go kick it with your friends. But Uncle Phil want to take you out on your anniversary and you acting all, I don't like it. I don't like it, lady. I don't like it. because you better than this, So she was acting all funky with him, you know what I'm saying? Acting all silly. And then some True Bobs came out. You know what I mean? He was like, you over here, you was acting like this is Chef Buffard, you know what I mean? Because, the whole thing with Erica, because you kissed Erica. And he was like, no, what it is I trust my wife. You know what I mean? So I wasn't worried about, buff draws. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't worried about, stuffed bell pepper. I wasn't worried about him. You know what I mean? Because I trust my wife. And she was like, are you trying to do the reverse Uno card because of Erica thing? And I ain't going to let you have it. You know what? I found him incredibly sexy. He made me feel good about myself. He made me feel young again. And it was like all this attention I gave you. You didn't think I made you feel good? Nope. Oh, Bufferoni made me feel good. It was like, you know what? Erica made me feel good too. But I didn't want her because I want my wife. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that there was not a lot of communication between these two in the first place, which it should have been way more communication, way more dialogue so they could get that stuff out 2 months ago. And this is what I was mad about Aunt Viv, because Uncle Phil was showing all kinds of attention to her and trying to shower her with love, and she was the one that was quiet. She's the one who didn't reveal what was really going on. And I believe that the way that they created Uncle Phil in this particular series is that he does want to listen to Aunt. He's in love with Aunt Viv. Even the whole thing with Erica kissed him and she pulled back. You know what I mean? He was like, no, nope, we're not doing this again. We already went through this in college. You know what I'm saying? At Howard, we're not doing this again. You know what I mean? So he the one who shut it down. But for Aunt Viv to play him to the side because you're overwhelmed, let your husband know that you're overwhelmed. Let him know how you feel about this. I don't believe the communication was there, and I didn't like that. You know what I mean? Because it made him, feel like he was going out of his way to try to please her, and she did not want to be pleased, and that's not fair on his part. All right, so we get back to Ashley is kind of waiting for for Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv to come through the door, and they kind of have this dialogue about, they're not getting divorced because remember her friend was talking about, they think that they, because of the things that's going through with Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil, that they might get a divorce. He was like, they ain't not getting a divorce. They're just going through a rough patch, but we as family, we could be able to make that patch work. And then we go over to Aunt Viv again with the ratio turn, you know what I mean? That she's on the other side, and they're having a real cover. Again, they could have settled this 2 months ago when Uncle Phil wasn't getting. Now I do say, when Uncle Phil wasn't getting none, he should have said, hey, nah, hell nah. What the hell is going on? I think the conversation could have came up and he could, and that's the thing about him. Did he say, hey, we need to have this conversation? I think he was like, hey, I'm giving you your space. I'm doing this. I want to make sure that I'm there for you. Hey, I'm going to encourage you for your work. Hey, I'm going to encourage you for your kids because they do have a lot going on. She wanted to get back into art so bad. She ended up getting, the managerial position, at the Art Institute. You have to deal with the things that was going on with Carter, and they kind of blame themselves for that. But also, you can't get so overwhelmed with life that you forget the person that you put those vows to, because you have to put yourself first. And this is the conversation that they had, is that they got to put each other first. But again, Uncle Phil is showing that I'm here for you. You know what I mean? And maybe he did not, do the things necessary, to say, hey, we got to cut this out. We got to find out what's going on so we could be able to be better, in this situation. And I love this. Again, this is what communication 101, and this episode is called Getting Personal. Let's get personal. Let's get real about this. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's hard. You know what I'm saying? But with it being hard, you know what I'm saying? The only way that we'll make it easier if we do it together. You know what I mean? Because it's easier for us to do it together than we both go on our separate sides to try to face the same beast. You know what I mean? So we get to Will. Remember, Will got kicked out. He's talking to the homie about, how they was raised, and, the homie's getting real, because I forgot his name. I ain't even gonna hold you. But, they were, talking about basically how they grew up. And my man grew up in South Central, Phil is from, West Philly, born and raised on a playground where he spent the most of his days, and they actually got a similar story. But the thing is that, homeboy, his mama and daddy, or his dad is not, died. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. And he was actually putting some game in Will's ear. Like, if you had an opportunity to be back with your dad, and talk back with your dad, man, you know, that's a blessing because you only got one day. And that's good that somebody his age is actually telling them that it's very important to talk to your father. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and try to build that relationship because you never know when that relationship something might happen. Which I'm not gonna lie, especially when I get into episode 6. Man, I'm gonna get to that part with episode 6. But if something happened with the progression of Lou after episode 6, I'm going to be devastated my damn self. You know what I'm saying? But Jackie comes through and was like, look, you got 2 minutes. While she was rolling her eyes with her cute self. You know what I mean? He was like, snap, I do. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey man, cause I ain't trying to hear your demo, but what you got? He was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? What I got is the black set shirts. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you got merch? I'm digging that. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? So we get back with Frederick and G, and Frederick still got some beef with his own daddy. And this is the thing about communication. I think this Getting Personal episode was more about communication and talking things out. Having those hard conversations that you don't want to have. And especially when it comes to family, when it comes to your father, your mother, or whatever, having those hard conversations so we can get the personal things out so we can be able to go further. Now, again, we get back to this scene, and remember, this is from episode 1, this picture, that they used for their anniversary. You know what I'm saying? But they made a slideshow, for them. And it's funny because this is most definitely AI. Because my man is looking a little too peachy in the face. You know what I'm saying? With the AI, but they did this for their anniversary, which I thought was cute, which was Carlton and Ashley, kind of showing a little slideshow of them and why my man looked like Country Wayne, in those pictures. He looks like, if you know who Country Wayne is, my man looking like Country Wayne in this picture, which is hilarious, but they was doing something for their anniversary, and do you know what today is? Okay, sing, it's our anniversary. That's what they was doing. They was dancing, having a good time, you know what I mean? And they did the right thing. Their kids, want to see their parents together, so they did the right thing by doing this, and this was awesome. So we get, a new character come around. This kid, seeing the flyer, he was like, I heard that you got a band. And he was like, well, the band is not the band anymore. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, I kind of really wanted to, talk about music, and kind of wanted to do something. He was like, well, I mean, we could listen to some records. It's like, oh, you in the vinyl? Cool. So they kind of bond over this. Now we cut back, what I'm saying, to Tony Rich, and they got the Black Cess, Jerry. Everybody rocking the Black Cess hoodie. It's California and it's at night. Yeah, the hoodie matches. You know what I'm saying? And this is dope again. You know what I'm saying? For Will, you know what I mean? Because Tony Rich is, a big superstar. They're, basically sold out because they're on there rocking the jerseys. Everybody in the crew rocking the jerseys. You know what I mean? And Carlton has a little bit of light, in this situation. It was like, man, I apologize. I kind of freaked out. I wish I could have been there for you. He was like, don't even worry about it. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it, because I handled the business, and that's all really that matters. You know what I mean? So Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv decide to put the doors back on Carlton's door. There's like, hey, I trust you more. We need to be there. And again, because of what they did the night before for their anniversary, and everything that Carlton's been doing has been earning the trust, of, Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil. And Will is looking at this like, man, and he's thinking, because remember, we just went through the whole situation with Lou. He didn't want to listen to Lou, gave him that box, and he was like, I ain't got nothing. I ain't trying to hear none of it. But he's starting to listen. He's starting to understand, hey, look, you only got one parent. If that parent ever goes, you never get to have that conversation again, So we get back with Frederick, and his mother, and now G has moved Frederick and his mother back in with him. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I don't think this is a good idea. It's like, hell no, but this is the idea that he has, and he's going to try to make it work as much as humanly possible. Then we get back with Destiny is having, and with this, I'm just so proud that she's getting in. Am I saying her name right? But she is now a part of she's one of the newest artists that's a part of this prestigious club. She is so excited. She's there with her mentor, you know, and this is awesome. And now this is ending this with Philip writing the termination, of him and Erica's partnership. And he went and sent it up, and we're gonna get to that in episode 6 about the partnership. But he was just thinking Carlton was thanking his dad that that he's now giving him that freedom and all of that. But this is a mirror sent this text, as you can see it here. Found our next high, cliff diving. Now, the only problem that I have with a mirror is that she's exchanging one high for the next. Remember, they were kissing, dropping the Hellcat, not looking at traffic or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to get a rush, and now we have them trying to go cliff diving for a rush. So there's some things that the mirror has to discuss, and you don't want to put Carlton in a dangerous situation because you're trying to find a new high, you know what I mean? And it's not the necessary high that he wants. And I think in this scene, he's actually thinking about this, right there. And then we got Will getting the box that Lou gave him, and he sees a picture, again, another CGI picture, you know what I'm saying? Marlon Wayans and the actress who's playing Will's mom and the young Will, you know what I mean? And he's thinking, man, maybe I could do something, maybe I could get these two together, and this is something we didn't explore in the original show. And I do like the fact that they're exploring this in this season, of this show. So it's not just drama, to be forced to drama or to, here's another deadbeat daddy, giving him an opportunity to explain himself, and I like that. They're giving him an opportunity to explain what happened with him and why he wasn't in Will's life. You know what I mean? And that is the end of the episode. So again, what did you guys think about this episode? Thank you for going on this magical journey with me with episode 5. Of course, don't forget, go look at episode 6 because, man, oh my God, it's bananas. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you never, ever, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe high, y'all.
Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over?
What?
Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.